The word is from Franklin D. Roosevelt. Those who vote decide nothing, but those who count the votes decide everything. With those words, I welcome you to ATN Politics. ATN Politics is Atlantic Television Network's flagship program that discusses core political trends with relevant political stakeholders. And today on ATN Politics, we will be discussing core issues from different political landscapes, such as in Imo State, APGA informs INEC, ISIEC of leadership change. In Benue State, Governor Alia sacks BCX chairman. And PDP charges federal government to review unpopular policies. Then Saraki says Tambuwal personally withdrew for Atiku. We'll be looking at all these stories and dissecting it with me. Before I introduce my guests, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we head straight into the details. Please stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficking.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
from the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social.
Welcome back to ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network. I am your host, Raymond Ken Bata, and with me is a political analyst, a friend of the house, a timber and caliber insofar as political analysis is concerned. I'm talking of none other than Vincent Oganekewe Okoro. It's a pleasure having you back here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be in the house.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's head to the first story for today. And ahead of the Imo State Local Council polls scheduled to take place on September 21st in the 27 local councils of the state, the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, has written to the State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the Imo State Independent Electoral Commission, ISIEC, informing them of a change in the party's leadership in the state. The change, according to the party, became inevitable following the recent Supreme Court judgment which declared Edozie Njoko as the rightful national chairman of the party. The change also aims to avoid any obstruction as the party prepares to participate in the forthcoming local government elections in the state. The party made its position known in a press conference held by its national delegate led by the National Secretary Muhyiddin Imam in Owerri, the state capital. All right, sir. Getting up to Imo State. the local government elections are due. And APGA, just coming back from a Supreme Court ruling that now clarified who the national chairman is, and is also rushing down to the states to make sure that they are on the same page with the state chapter, and if there are any impostors there, they be let known that there is a new sheriff in town. These are all in preparations for the local government polls coming.
Very well.
Do you think that without this announcement being known, that it would have hampered any hopes that they had during the local government elections coming, sir?
APGA has it where, let me say it's about the fifth largest political party in Nigeria. At least they have a governorship seat in Anambra, in the person of Chukwuma Soludo.
Exactly.
Now, coming to Imo State and the forthcoming local government election in that state, like I have said in one of our shows here, that the Southeast is practically the most democratic region.
Exactly.
As far as politics in Nigeria is concerned, or politics actually in Nigeria is concerned. Being that it is only in the Southeast you see almost all the major political parties in Nigeria, you know, having a touch, you know, in one state of the Southeast or the other. I think it's only Imo State that we have the APC.
Yes.
We have a PDP in Enugu.
Yeah.
We have we have APC in Ebonyi.
In Ebonyi.
In Ebonyi,
yes.
yes. Then we have a PDP in Enugu. We have a APGA in Anambra. Then we have the Labour Party in Abia.
Abia.
There is no other region where you have that kind of spread.
Exactly.
As far as varieties of political parties are concerned.
Exactly.
Now, I want to say that, you know, in that kind of, in that scenario, we can say that in the Southeast, then we are looking at Imo State now. You know, every political party will fancy their chances going into an election is concerned.
Exactly.
Now, it is in the place of APGA to make sure that whatever chances, whatever permutation they have made, as far as their success in the outing for the LGA polls, you know, it is in their place to make sure they put their house in order. You know, if there is any infiltration that could hamper their success in the outing, you know, the time, you know, there cannot be other time than now for them to start making sure that such, you know, turns among the plans, you know, are with that, you know, cleared away, you know, in paving the way to make sure they have a smooth run as far as their campaign, you know, and the election proper is concerned. You know, you now rule out situations where we are going to be having issues of litigations.
Yes.
There's some persons who, in the name of being chairman, you know, knowing that maybe with the new leadership at the national level, by the virtue of the Supreme Court ruling, you know, we'll be having a situation where, you know, the old leadership as it were, you know, in the state chapter, will now begin to look at it that, okay, tomorrow may be changed. Then they can decide to play a dirty game that can hamper their chances as far as the local government post is concerned. And then, so in order to avoid taking chances, that is why I think, that's one of the reasons why I think they are trying to take the step now to clean the house before they head to the polls.
Okay, so there is no, is there a feeling of deja vu? Because I know that they have been there in Imo State before, in the governorship, in the person of former governor Rochas Okorocha, before he defected. Is there any chance that they might replicate using the local government to get back to the state once more?
Yes, you can even extend to the national.
Okay.
You know, for instance, you know, in politics, anything can happen, especially when it comes to Nigeria. From time to time, there could be surprises. Like, if you look at the current minister of the FCT, for instance, in the person of the former governor of Rivers State, you know, he says Selefi Nyosowike. If somebody will tell you that today, he will be in the same page, or on the same page rather, with the ruling party, you know, by his antecedents, heading to the 2023 election, you know, it will be difficult for you to believe. Exactly. But today you can see what is happening. So we can see a situation where tomorrow the pendulum can swing to the other side, whereby the APC will no longer be the ruling party in that state. And then who say APGA cannot regain that state again, having been at the aim of affairs. And you know that the APGA is more or less you know, an indigenous party of the Southeast. You know, their former hero, in the person of Ojukwu, is more or less the founder of that party. You know, so we can see the Southeast as people who are more or less sympathetic, you know, to the fortune of APGA. You know, so in their preparation for the local government election, it can be, you know, a platform, you know, or a means through which they can announce themselves that we are now serious. You know, we can now be taken serious. You know, if I were the leadership of that party in that state, I'll be looking at how, you know, we can actually, you know, feel our best. You know, by the time we have, we're able to capture 1 or 2 or more local governments, then we use them to show the people what leadership is about. And then such that if they're able to show that they have ideologies that are people-oriented, that are people-friendly, then the people can start looking at their direction as far, you know, leadership at the state level, you know, is concerned. And leadership at national level too, when you talk about the House of Representatives and the Senate. So I think there can be a deja vu of reoccurrence.
Oh, good.
You know, as far, you know, the forthcoming election and moving forward for the APGA is concerned in Imo State.
Okay, let's look back, because we are still doing political education right here that we are. And let's use this opportunity to also appraise ourselves of what's led to the fall of APGA in Imo State. Let's not go to Anambra State for now. We had already discussed Anambra State. I think you are my guest even in that show.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Yeah, so, but today let's appraise what led to the fall of APGA in Imo State per se. Maybe some political parties somewhere could learn from those mistakes.
First and foremost, do we see our politicians ever learning their lessons, for instance? Now, you know, a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. Now, APGA once won an election in that state, you know, by the charisma, the personality of their former governor, the person of Rochas. Now, like I said earlier, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Then we're also talking about the issue of ideology of political parties and those who are manning their leadership, such that, you know, people need to know where to draw the line when it comes to personal interest and collective interest. Now, the former governor of that state, you know, having mounted the saddle, you know, it became an opportunity for those who have personal individual interest in that party to push forward with their own ideas, and also their propensity to get rewarded, you know, for their effort in the party. Unfortunately, we see a situation in politics and governance whereby, you know, opportunities cannot go around every person. Just imagine, let's assume that it's a full local government that push up APGA. You know, the politicians in a full local government that push APGA. How many opportunities do we have in governance that we go around? So at the end of the day, we are going to see some persons that will feel they've been marginalized, they've been, you know, pushed aside in the scheme of things. Then what is going to happen is going to be infighting. And then you also agree with me that, you know, in the course of politicking, in the course of trying to push forward, there are certain compromises that may happen, you know, in us, then that we can consider to be secret, you know.
Yes.
And then I'm not getting what I want, and I know that if I push like this, I'll be able to, you know, maybe get another opportunity somewhere. So before you know, infighting within the political structure within the party starts.
Okay.
The next thing we saw is defection, but the defection we cannot attribute it to the infighting in the party, really. Now we see a situation where, for instance, whenever Rochas go to Abuja to meet with other state governors, you know, you are a lone man. Okay, let us vote, and okay, we want to, you know, pass a vote of confidence on the president. As an APGA Guba, I'm standing alone. You know, then my idea about what we want to pass a vote of confidence on, for instance, you know, my idea about it is different from every other person. But because I don't have that support base, being just APGA governor, you know, where you have a lot of PDP and APC and what have you, you know, it's difficult for me to push forward. Then if I'm looking for support, the same thing. Then we see a situation where there are 30 propensities about human beings. For instance, I'm hosting my birthday. You expect that who is who in the society, at least at my own level as a governor, you know, should flood my house and then make me look very sick. Yeah. Then such are not happening. So amidst all this are the reasons why I think that the former governor defected, not really because of the infighting, because we are not really aware that there were infighting in APGA. It actually caught the public by surprise that Rocha Sokorocha, you know, left APGA as a party to defect to the ruling party at the time. So, so if you ask me, I would say that after the defection, you know, that basically weakened APGA in that state, and even in the southeast, entire southeast in extension, or wherever there's APGA in Nigeria. You can also, if we recall, you see that before, while he was governor, and before he was governor, he was a very liberal person when it comes to, you know, his charity work and what have you. So he have a lot of following. And then you will not tell me that Rochas moving from APGA to the ruling party at the time, you know, he went alone. Of course, he carried along loads of his loyalists and other passive powers as it were. And the result is, once you have 5 and you minus 1, it can never be 5 again. Yes. So that is how APGA started, you know, deteriorating. If we may look at it as a material concept, you know, it started deteriorating. And then, of course, in extension to other parts of Southeast and Nigeria, you know, those who are political players that may have been thinking that it's an emerging force, you know, began to lose interest. And today, they have a carcass, you know, that have been eaten very deep by the vulture to build on.
All right. We have been discussing on the intricacies of the fall of APGA in Imo State and how they might rise back to their feet concerning the upcoming local government elections in Imo State. But for now, let's move on to Benue State, where the governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, has directed the chairman, Benue State Independent Electoral Commission, BSEC, Dr. John Chen, to vacate office and hand over to the administrative secretary of the commission. In the statement signed by the chief press secretary to the governor, Sir Kala Terso, and made available to newsmen in Makurdi on Friday, he observed that the actions of the commission's chairman fall short of public interest. The chief press secretary noted that the directive for the chairman of the commission to hand over was in response to the resolution of the Benue State House of Assembly. All right, we are now seeing a situation where we have been discussing before now concerning why it is that elections are not free and fair. And we arrived at the proposal and the proposition that if the umpire is being chosen, is being appointed by the chief executive, I mean, he who pays the piper dictates the tune.
That's a matter of fact.
And in this case here right now, we are seeing the governor in concert with the House of Assembly, I mean, firing the chairman of the electoral body. Do we think it ought to be so? Is this not supposed to be an anomaly? What can we do in such a situation where the umpire is not independent and we are expecting a different result?
Well, you know, we have visited this particular issue, you know, on our live show, if I'm not mistaken, you know, and it's still with respect to the local government election that is more or less coming up across the country, by the virtue of the, you know, ruling of the Supreme Court, you know, that has abolished caretaker committee as far, you know, local government administration is concerned in Nigeria. Now, we are talking about what we can do, because just the same way at the Supreme Court, there's a judgment to reduce the power of the executive, you know, the overbearing influence of the executive, you know, on the local government administration. Now, like I said in our previous show, there's practically little that can be done as long as there is no clear separation of relationship, let me not say power, between the state executive and the local government administrators as a local government chairman as it were, you know, and then the appointment of who is at the end as far the local government elections are concerned. So there's practically little that can be done until there's a legislation, you know, whereby there will be a body to appoint the the SEC chairman, independent of any player in whether at the state level or federal government level, you know, as far the appointment of the SEC chairman is concerned. As long as there is as long as that problem, you know, as it were, is not addressed, there's simply nothing that can be done. You can see what is happening in Benue State. I think the governor in that state is a religious leader, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
And then election are just at the corner. And it will be difficult for any sane person who is abreast with the realities of politics in Nigeria to believe, you know, the reasons he tried to put forward as to why he has decided to fire the person he met there, you know, possibly, I think, appointed by his predecessor. And the predecessor is not in the same party with him. You know, there was no mother and baby relationship. You know, I need to bring back that, exactly. You know, there's no mother and baby relationship between him and the predecessor. So, by the virtue of the way politics is played in Nigeria, whatever the other person has done, no matter how positive the public may have perceived it, it's down the drain now, you know. So one of it is the current person that has received his sack letter, you know. So as the forthcoming election is concerned, is how it can, you know, put the electoral system in that state in his pocket and do whatever he likes with it. That is my opinion, you know, until it is proven otherwise, until it make us know that, yes, you know, a religious leader are not what some of us think they are when it comes to morality, you know. So today is the governor of that state. The onus lies on him to do the right thing, you know, to use the forthcoming local government election in Benue State as a model, you know, that will be referenced by other states, you know, across the country.
Okay.
So if we are talking about what the public can do, as of now, there's simply nothing until there's a legislation that will set boundaries, you know, clear boundaries as far as the administration of a local government election in our various states are concerned.
Okay, if I may ask, since we know that this is good for us to have an independent electoral commission, either in the national level, in the state level, or even in the local government level, because I know that there is an agency being touted and being is about to be floated by the National Assembly concerning conducting elections in the local government area. What is the opposition? What is the reasons why there is no independence of these bodies, knowing that it will really help to showcase the will of the people, to really showcase the true winners of elections? Why hasn't it been able to pass through as a legislation, and it has not been able to have effect in our present dispensation?
Wow. The simple question one could ask as a follow-up is, who are the people, you know, that are managing the legislative arm of government? It's still the same politicians. And then leadership, political leadership in Nigeria is like like a give and take, whereby, you know, there is no clear separation as far the various harm of leadership as far the government is concerned at the various levels. You know, today, okay, let me go for governor, make you go for Senate. So by the time you get to Senate, then I'm the governor. Whatever is happening as it were, you know, as a result of the executive action or legislative action, is going to is a conjunction. Now, the state executives, who are more or less the leaders of those representing the states at the National Assembly, you know, knows that the state leadership, being the governors, they know that if local government is the power to control local government is away from them, then it invariably reduces their influence, their power.
Okay.
Now, for instance, the president of the country as it is today, if he loses the confidence of the governors, that's a big problem. Like we can look at what happened in 2015 as a case study, where a lot of governors from the PDP, from the ruling party at the time, PDP, defected to the newly formed APC at the time. You know, from a former governor of Rivers State, you know, Tambawa, just mentioned them. You know, after their defection, you know, it became obvious to the public that the muscles and wings that the president at the time, being a person of Goodluck Jonathan, his SLFC, the Goodluck Jonathan, was used to fly. They have been plucked away, and he could not succeed, you know, in his re-election bid. So that is how powerful the governors are. The same synergy, you know, is in place between the governors and the local government, the chairman. So anything that makes the local the governor to lose control of the local government is a big problem for them as far as their political prospect is concerned. So given that there is a relationship, there is a symbiotic relationship between the state executives and those at the National Assembly, they will still come back to the state executive to, you know, get their opinion. In fact, their division, not just opinion, of what should be and what should not. You remember very well where we saw in Rivers State, for example, where the local government chairmen were saying that they don't need autonomy, that everything they need is, you know, they always get it, which mirror the idea of the governor, His Excellency Nyoso Wike at the time, you know. But today, it's like the former governor is no longer, you know, at the state level. Some other person who is now at the aim of affairs is not in tandem or on the same, you know, on the same political boat with the local government chairman. Their voice has changed. That is local government autonomy or nothing. So it's all about politics, which is, in extension, is about interest. So at the National Assembly, a lot of, you know, forces is holding them, or forces are holding them, you know, from doing what is expected of them. And that is why we keep on seeing that particular legislation, you know, going around the circle without being able to see the light of the day.
Oh, that was very incisive. But all that is still a short change to the people's mandate. Be that as it may, I believe that in no time, in the nearest future, we might see a breakthrough, because it will be a game changer.
Of course.
It will instill confidence for the people to be able to see that their vote counts. Truly.
Just like you know, when the public, as it were, was fighting for local government autonomy,
exactly,
it looked as if there will never be light at the end of the tunnel. Like towards the 2023 election, this issue of local government autonomy was on the corner strongly. You know, at the end of the day, it's like it was crushed, swept under the carpet, and buried forever. But we are here now. Exactly. You know, all the government across the states and the public is hearing for local government elections, I mean, across the country. Yes. You know, as of 2023, 2022, we didn't know that we'll be here this early. So we believe that, you know, democracy has come to stay in Nigeria, and it should be forward ever, backward never. Definitely. No matter the challenges that, you know, that is confronting the quest for the Nigerian society to move forward.
Very incisive, very incisive. We have been speaking to Vincent Ogenekewe Okoro, a political analyst of no mean repute. He's a man of timber and caliber when it comes to political analysis, and we do encourage you to always tune in to ATN Politics to get views of experts that do come to our center stage. For now, we'll go for a very short break, very short break, and when we return, more coming from Vincent. Stay tuned.
Economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You're a human trafficker.
They are not picking our calls.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara.
Welcome back to ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network right here in Port Harcourt. We have been speaking to Vincent Ogenekewe Okoro from the political terrains of River State up till the political terrains in our dear country Nigeria. We have been dissecting and postulating. And this leads us to the current story that we are facing right here. The People's Democratic Party has charged the All Progressive Congress led federal government to immediately review all its policies that are asphyxiating the life in the country. The party, in a statement on Thursday, stated that the nationwide protest by Nigerians would not have come if the APC government had dropped its arrogance, insensitivity, and shown sincere commitment to the citizens by taking steps to address the current hardship occasioned by the ill-implemented policies. Debo Ologunaba, the party's national publicity secretary, said in the statement that Nigerians can recall that the PDP on several occasions offered advice on the state of the economy to the APC government, adding that the most recent being that the PDP statement on June the 6th, 2024, wherein it urged the President Tinubu, to listen to the heartbeat of Nigerians. There is hunger and destitution in the land. The reaction of a hungry people is better imagined. Mr. President, please act now. The party said sadly that these councils did not receive the expected consideration, resulting in the current situation. He said it is alarming that instead of engaging Nigerians and addressing their concerns, the APC allegedly recruited hoodlums to instigate violence to justify a clampdown and killing of innocent Nigerians. That's a big allegation there. And before we head into the crux of the matter, I want us to delve into a topic that has been on the periphery for some time. That's the topic of why is it difficult for a ruling party, for a ruling government, to take actual advice from the opposition. Are they scared that it might go into a misadventure? Is this trying to redirect them from their own true purpose? If a party in power gets advice from an opposition, why is it not taken serious? Has there been any time in our history when the advice of the opposition party was taken wholeheartedly and implemented by a ruling party?
Okay, you know, just this popular saying, you know, among, let me say, among us Nigerians, that Nigeria not be America. Nigeria is not America.
Yeah.
And, you know, like in America, you see a situation where the opposition party, you know, formulate a policy, bring it forward, and then there will be a vote in the Congress for and against. Then you even see a situation where the opposition is even voting more than the proponent of that particular legislation. But can that ever happen in Nigeria? I doubt.
Wow.
And the reason is simple. We find ourselves in a situation where, you know, in a society where if I am on part A and some other person tell me to follow part B, I will never turn back from that part A. In fact, that will become a reinforcer for what I have, for whatever it is I believe already. So we are talking about opposition here in a country where politics is characterized by greed. The ruling party, or the ruling party and its officials in the persons of the governors, the president, the House of Assembly, senators, local government chairman, just mention them. We are expecting them to take advice from the opposition that is looking at the next election to oust them from power. Then they are taking advice from them. Then tomorrow, the Nigerian public that is more or less very sensitive will come to tell you that, okay, all the politicians themselves will come to tell you that whatever success that was recorded by the ruling party, it was in their place. So it is time for people to allow us to even do it better than how they did their own idea. So this is a simple thinking. It's a simple thought process where it is practically impossible for the ruling party to take advice, you know, especially when it comes to policy formulation and implementation, you know, from the opposition party. Then the other important point to note is this. I'm not giving you advice because I love you. I'm giving you advice to get at you. I'm giving you advice to make the public understand that there is something you are not getting right, that you are not fit. So accepting your advice is a confirmation of your claim. So in this kind of situation, it is near impossible. In fact, the odds is likely to pass through the eye of the needle than for our politicians to take advice, especially when it comes to policy, you know, from the opposition. Of course, if you are Ayim, Pius Ayim, you have advice for the president coming from Labour, from PDP.
Yeah.
There is defect now.
Yes.
And you can see what has happened And it wasn't up to a week. He was in Aso Rock.
Yes.
You know, dining with the president.
Yes.
And then at that material time, whatever he will say may be considered, but not when he was in the opposition, in PDP. So, and then they also see that by the time we are taking advice from the opposition, it's an indirect way of reinforcing them and making them to have confidence as far confronting the public, you know, that they are a more capable hand in leadership is concerned, you know. Then when you now look again, the proponent of this whole, the protagonist of this topic we are talking about right now, the PDP, are they just waking from their slumber? Because you were at the aim of affairs from 1999 to 2015.
Exactly.
So what is that thing that you did that place you, that gives you the moral fortitude to think that you are now in position to advise us? Did you just graduate from Cambridge or Harvard as you know, in the political school of Cambridge and Harvard for you to not think that you are now qualified, you know, to offer leadership advice to my political party? Or are you saying that we are dumb to take whatever you are telling us hook, line, and sinker? So, you know, it's a no. What the PDP should be doing is to capitalize on the few states under their own leadership and show Nigeria how it is done. And not show Nigeria how it is done. Show Nigeria that they made mistakes, that made the APC to write on the back of propaganda as it were. That's my opinion now. You know, to power. So it is their own mistake. In fact, we can attribute the weakness, what the Nigerian public is suffering today. We can attribute the remote cause of it to the failure of the PDP. So the PDP should continuously cover its face in shame for whatever the Nigerian public is passing through as of today. And they should stop wasting their time and that of the public, you know, trying to think that they are in position now to advise the federal government. So if they put their house in order, then they should come back to us, we'll listen to them.
Okay, but be that as it may, let us put it like this. Protest is no respecter of party. I mean, there was a very giant occupying Nigeria during the times of Goodluck Jonathan. And, I mean, there was one during President Muhammadu Buhari, former President Muhammadu Buhari, the End SARS movement.
Yes.
And right now, there's the End Bad Government protest.
Cooperation, take it back.
Exactly.
After you occupy.
Okay, after you occupy, you take
you chase SARS.
Okay, then you take it back.
Yes.
Political theories
yes.
from the country Nigeria. All right, so in that context, is there something that APC would have done differently to avoid this because people have died in this protest?
Very well.
We've had humongous loss of life and property. I mean, within 24
Both
hours.
Public and private.
Yes, within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be a 10-day event. Within then, I don't know how many human souls will be living.
Okay.
If it follows with the propensity it came with the first day.
Yes.
So, is there something the APC didn't do that had exacerbated this particular situation we found ourselves in, please?
Well, if we are restricting that question to the APC, you know, then I think we will be missing the points.
Okay.
Because I'm one person who have always opined that the problem of Nigeria today in the public space, all the cry, is not about the government alone. It's not about ruling party alone. It's not about federal government alone. It's not about the people alone. You know, some even attribute it to our colonial master. There's no type of story that has not been propounded as far the root cause of our problems are concerned. You know, the cause of the problem as it is today is all-encompassing. It's an holistic challenge, you know. It's an holistic challenge from shortcoming from all stakeholders, from government to the family to the school, religious body, international community, just mention it, that brought us to where we are today. Now, if there are 4 parties or 5 parties, you know, in a football field, for instance, playing, then you expect that one side will do it alone. So there's no way we will expect that leadership under the APC at the federal level can solve all the problems that will avert the crisis that is currently engulfing the country, in which if it is not properly managed, it can spiral into something that will consume a lot, that will spiral into what will make what happened yesterday across some states in Nigeria, that what will make that a child's play. So the APC cannot, there's nothing much they would have done. Now, when we are talking about the APC, we are looking at the president, Mr. Tinubu, and His Excellency, President Tinubu, and his cabinet. What about the state governors? What about the local government chairman? What about community leadership? What about traditional rulers? What about the families, and so on and so forth? For instance, as a child growing up at the age of 8, I already know how to go to the farm, pluck oranges, you know, for reward, which I used to augment whatever my grandmother have, you know, as far as my training is concerned. But today in the family front, how many of them are encouraging dignity of labor among their children? You know, because the next thing now, I had a governor, that is the governor of Delta State, the person of Sheriff, tagging the protest as a hunger protest. I laughed at my house. Like, what is this man talking about? We are talking about end to bad governance. We are saying that you target hunger of protest, hunger protest, simply because you know that you are part of the bad governance we are talking about, as far as Delta State and in the extension to Nigeria is concerned. Because he will not tell me that he does not go to Federal Executive Council meetings for him to look at the president on the face and say, this is what you are doing wrong and this is what you are doing right. To look at his fellow governors on the face and say, this is what you are doing right and this is what you are doing wrong. So to look at the entire leadership of Nigeria in the face. After all those meetings, they come to face the press. What message do you pass? You know, having the platform to express yourself as a public leader. Then you just come in order for you to sidestep yourself. You tag the protest a hunger protest, which to me is very, very unfortunate. So nobody will tell me that it is an issue of APC-led federal government, you know, to have averted the protest as it were. Yes, practically little they would have been able to do. You can see what happened, you know, when the rumor of the protest was coming.
Yes.
Then they opened the grain chamber and started distributing whatever, of which both myself and those around me, we've not seen a cup of that grain up to now.
Exactly.
You know, and then how could that have been a solution? And then the other issue is this: it's not like they were not released. The grain in question, they were released to the various states. Then what happened at the state level? For you to now tell me that the problem is federal government, the problem goes beyond what is happening at the federal level. So it is from the micro level to the macro level. Of course, you can see all the lootings that happened across some states yesterday. It was it Tinubu that came out to do the looting. It's ordinary Nigerians. So I was telling them that, you know, they were trying to, you know, it was like the what happened in Kenya was the trigger, you know, yes, that energized the protest that we are currently seeing in Nigeria. Now I was asking some persons that care to listen, what happened yesterday is that the model of Kenya, of in Venezuela, in Indonesia, and wherever in other parts of the world where there have been protests? It's a child's play. Yesterday I was watching the protesters, in the supposed protesters, because I don't call them protesters. They are just people that have free time, that went there to enjoy themselves, shoot videos and they snap selfies. That's how I see them. Now they were with the state governor of River State.
Yes.
And then the governor came out, and it was all smiles. It was all smiles, you know. And then the next thing I was hearing was, without a SIM, there's no network. Yeah. Now, what happened? Practically converted the protest, as it were, to a political support base for the governor. Because by the time you are saying if there's no SIM, there's no network, you are telling the man that Organa, he be whole and all. Sure. So what else showcased that you went on protest yesterday? If you go to such a place and then you are singing the praises of your supposed oppressor. So back to the question, the government at the federal level, led by APC, is more or less handicapped as far the protest, avoidance of the protest is concerned.
I see a situation where there might be more destruction because the protest is still ongoing. What advice, in a minute, can you give to guide those that might be going for the protest? We are tired of saying do not go for protest anymore.
Yeah.
But let's be able to guide. Let's be able to enlighten. Let's be able to educate. In a minute, please.
Okay. Now we have a two-face of those participating in the protest.
Yes.
Then I refer to them as the drivers and the passengers.
Okay.
Now the drivers are those who are the proponent of the protest that the follower, being the passengers, are looking onto. Now we are talking about advice in order to avert what happened yesterday.
Exactly.
But it's out of hand already.
Whoa.
In other words, it's practically late. The reason is that those who are the drivers of the protest have failed woefully, to provide the leadership that is needed for a sustained, result-oriented protest. That's why we saw what we saw yesterday. Now, some of the persons that involved in the looting and the destruction, are people, who we can refer to as having a low human development index. Now, there are people, those people look onto. So you, as the drivers of the protest, supposed to have taken it as a point of duty to get in touch with the leadership of this group of people that we are now referring to as hoodlums. But that was not done. You just said that once you come out and say we are protesting against a bad leadership, everything will fall into place. Unfortunately, right now it is late because those people, a lot of time, came back with a lot of loot yesterday. So if I sat back and then I saw that this person looted bag of rice and a gallon of groundnut oil back to his house, do you think that there's no tendency for me to go to join them tomorrow? Now, human needs are insatiable. Yes. So meaning that even though I was able to cut away a trailer load of grains yesterday from the protest, I will only reinforce my energy to even make sure it is 10 trailer load the next day. So what we are even expecting is something that's going to be more devastating than what we saw yesterday. Whoa. If the state actors don't bring this protest under control, as a matter of fact. So it's not on the part of the leadership of the protest anymore. It is out of their hand because they fail to do what they are supposed to do. And this is something that a lot of us were shouting about, leading to the protest.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers all the world around, we are pleading that violence should take a backstage during this protest. We do not want to mourn the loss of any more human lives or the loss of any properties anymore. From myself, Raymond Kenimbata, and my guest, Vincent Ogenekere Okoro, a political analyst, we are wrapping up the show for today. It's a pleasure being here. Your thoughts and musings are very, very invaluable to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you. I hope to be here again.
Definitely.
God bless.
Definitely.
Yes.
And this is where we wrap it up on ATN Politics. Do well to connect with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you and stay tuned.
We bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused